Athanasia was a princess. Her name meant eternity. She was the daughter of Emperor Claude and Empress Diana, but Diana died while giving birth. Before dying, she kissed her child with magic, though no one knew what gift it gave. After her death, the emperor destroyed everything that belonged to Diana, keeping only the baby. Yet he showed no love. The servants also ignored Athanasia. If even her father doesn't care, why should we? They thought. But Athanasia had a secret. Since she was a baby, she could enter a magical world. A voice called her, and she found a strange book. The book showed her whole life, past and future. She was shocked. It said that when she grew up, she would be accused of black magic. Her father would exile her to a tower forever. She lived in a kingdom where all people had magic, except her. Her father's cold eyes made the prophecy feel real. Only one person cared for her, Lillian. Lillian had been Diana's friend. Though born noble, she gave up everything to stay with Athanasia. She treated her kindly, protecting her. Athanasia knew she was in danger. She could not defend herself, but she had to change her fate. The greatest obstacle was her father, Emperor Claude, the most powerful man in the world. That's my father, she thought sadly. When Athanasia turned 3, the palace grew warmer. Many new maids came, charmed by her sweet nature. But one maid was greedy. She searched for treasures once bought for the late empress. One day, Athanasia asked what she was looking for. The maid, thinking she was a gardener's child, replied, "Show me gold." Athanasia realized she wanted to steal. She led her to wheat and sunflowers, pretending not to know. Then she said there were only small jeweled utensils left. The maid, thinking Athanasia was on her side, tried to rob the kitchen. But Athanasia took the jewels first. When the woman attacked her, she threw decorations and made noise. Other maids caught the thief. The thief was sent away. But Athanasia knew it was fate. In her visions, this same woman would have harmed Lillian. By acting now, she saved her. She kept the jewels, knowing she might need them later. Felix, Claude's aide, reported the event. Claude stayed cold, but far away, someone felt the empire's fate was starting to change. Through the book, Athanasia understood that she was merely a secondary character in that story. In her dreams, she already knew she would meet her father when she was 8. He will be the only family I have left, she thought. From that moment on, she would begin her effort to impress him, yearning to be by his side. However, without magic, this goal seemed unattainable. The worst would come at age 12 when she was introduced to society. At that moment, she would discover a painful truth. Her father also had another daughter named Jeanette. She was a graceful princess, charming in appearance, with natural elegance and magical abilities. Perhaps she had even received her father's love. For these reasons, little Athanasia did not want to suffer a cruel fate, nor be rejected or exiled. Before her 8th birthday, she had been gathering coins and jewels to escape and live in peace. In her plans, Lillian would also accompany her, supporting her, and together, they would take all the treasures Athanasia had hidden. While reflecting on this, she stained her fingers with chocolate, as she often asked the maids for sweets. It was not just for pleasure. She also hid gems in the kitchen utensils. One day she washed her hands at a fountain and saw her reflection. Her face resembled her mother's, but her eyes were like the emperor's, shining like precious stones. Maybe he hates me for that, she thought. Later, walking into the forest, she found her secret stash. Threatened by a squirrel, she distracted it with a peanut and carried the jewels deeper into a vault-like place. There, she found small golden cherubs and wondered if they were real gold. But suddenly, she came face to face with Claude, the emperor, her father. Shocked, she thought. I wasn't supposed to meet him until I was 8. Claude noticed her resemblance to the empress. Approaching her, he surprised everyone by pulling her cheeks and saying she was chubby. He then ordered tea with his daughter. Athanasia remained in shock, remembering that in the future, this man would exile her for black magic. Claude, however, watched her silently, then asked if she knew who he was. Nervously, she called him Papa instead of punishing her. He seemed pleased. From then on, her life changed. Claude declared she would live by his side under his protection as a true princess. Everyone rejoiced except Athanasia, who still feared him. Yet every day she now drank tea with Claude and lived as a royal. Still, deep inside, she kept her original plan. Before she turned 8, she would escape with everything she had gathered. Soon Athanasia and Lillian were called to Claude. He thanked the maid for caring for the girl all these years. How can he act like this now? She thought, remembering the future. She already knew. Claude said he had not cared for her before because the throne kept him away. From now on, she would live by his side under his protection as a true princess. Everyone was happy except Athanasia, who still believed her father was a demon in disguise. Her days then changed. Every day she drank tea with Claude was treated like royalty and had careful maids. Yet her wish stayed same, that before turning 8 she would escape. Claude, however, became more curious about his daughter. He saw she loved shiny things and slowly he drew closer. For the first time, a small hope grew in her here. Maybe her father would love her. One day, he invited her on a trip to the lake. Lillian dressed her beautifully, and with Felix by their side, they met Claude. He said she looked healthy and plump. To little Athanasia, it felt like praise. Then she told him he was handsome. Everyone froze, but Claude only gave her a cold look. Still, the day felt special. They stayed in the garden full of flowers until it was time to board a small boat. She felt afraid because she could not swim. Felix tried to comfort her, though he regretted it when he saw Claude hold her roughly. To break the silence, Athanasia whispered that his golden hair was radiant and she loved it. She admitted he was beautiful, yet she could not forget about her visions. The boat moved without oars with Claude's magic. His eyes shone blue like sapphires, and she wondered if hers were the same. Suddenly, a glowing lotus appeared. Its soft scent drew her in, and she leaned too far. Losing balance, she fell into the water. Algae and plants wrapped around her, pulling her down. She thought it was the end. She wished her father would save her, though she knew it was hopeless. But Claude leapt in, pulled her out, and used magic to dry her clothes. He looked irritated, not at her, but at the whole event. He told Felix to teach his daughter to swim since it was too dangerous. Afterward, Athanasia caught a fever. Lillian cared for her and explained that the lotuses were magical, luring people underwater with illusions. Nobles with magic were safe, but ordinary people were not. Athanasia realized she was the most fragile of all. That night, Claude returned to the lake. The lotuses showed him the image of Diana, Athanasia's mother. Since her death, he had tried to bury his feelings, but now with his daughter, he felt no hatred. Felix also saw, but Claude stayed calm, saying there were matters yet to settle. The next morning, a maid rushed in saying many new servants had come. Outside, a group gathered and promised to serve the princess. Finally, Felix knelt before Athanasia and declared he would be her temporary personal guard. Athanasia could not believe it. Athanasia saw her mother in a dream, and suddenly she woke up crying because she missed her. After that, Felix carried Athanasia and walked through the palace corridors. Athanasia asked him where they were going. He told her that Emperor had invited her to breakfast today. But when she got there, Claude was still sleeping, so she thought of playing tricks on him while he was asleep and did many silly things to him. Afterward, Claude and Athanasia had breakfast together. During the meal, Athanasia told him that there were many interesting things in his palace. Claude told her to explore and do whatever she liked. Then a bell rang and Claude left. But before going, he told her, Athie, that from now on they would have breakfast together every morning. Athanasia was shocked. While he was gone, Athie decided to explore. She saw portraits of imperial family members and wondered if her mother, Diana's portrait, was also there. But she only found portraits of Claude. She was desperate to see her mother's face, so she searched the room and found a portrait hidden under a cloth. At the bottom of it, the name Diana was written. She said, "That's it, here is my mother's portrait." But when she removed the cloth, she saw that the portrait was burned. She remembered her vision and felt sad, thinking her father hated Diana. The next day, Athanasia came to have breakfast with Claude and greeted him. She asked Claude what tea he was drinking and said she wanted to try it too. Claude asked Felix to give her the tea. When Athanasia drank it, she said something that shocked everyone, and Emperor suddenly froze. Felix told Athanasia that this tea came from her mother's hometown, and when she drank it, she said the same words as Diana. After that, the Emperor told her to only drink milk because she was too young to drink tea. Then many days passed, and Emperor didn't meet Athanasia or come to have any breakfasts. She waited for him and felt sad. She thought he had forgotten her too, so she burned all her drawings. One day she overheard Lillian and Felix talking. Lillian said she wanted to show Diana to the princess. Felix said there were no portraits left of Diana because everything had been burned at that time. He said if they asked the Emperor, he could show Diana with his magic. Athanasia suddenly came forward and shouted, "Don't talk about Mama to Papa or he will hate." Felix calmed her. Then he carried Athanasia to the Emperor's palace afterward. She entered Claude's study and told him that Felix said Claude could show her Mama, but she thought Claude wouldn't do it, so she tried to leave. Then Claude carried her to bed and told her to sing a lullaby. She sang a lullaby, and he used magic in the room that made stars appear. After that, they both fell asleep. Then Athanasia had a dream. She saw her mother Diana and her father Claude talking to each other. For the first time, she saw her father smile, a smile that was only for her mother. She felt happy. When Athanasia was sleeping, Felix entered Claude's room and told him that a guest was waiting, so Claude left the room. The guest was Duke Alpheus. He came to present his son Ezekiel to be the princess's study companion. Soon the princess woke up, and from the second floor she saw Duke Alpheus. After seeing him, she remembered her vision that this man would present Jeanette as the emperor's daughter in the future, and his son Ezekiel would deeply love Jeanette. Then she thought that now that Claude loves her, he wants to make his bond stronger with her. So she came down and sat on Claude's lap. After that, the Duke told her about his son and said that he was good in studies, but she told him that she had read many books and did not want a companion who was dumber than her. So the Duke told her that his son also knew magic. Afterward, Athanasia went into the forest with a magical detector. She checked her magic, but the detector did not show anything. So she thought to herself that her mother and father both had magic, but as their daughter, she had none, and she felt sad. After 2 years, people started saying that the emperor really loved the princess and that she was the successor of the throne. Then the magician Lucas appeared. He saw Lillian in the market and said that she was supposed to die, but someone had changed her fate. Later, in the palace library, Athanasia was reading a book, and Claude was sitting there watching her. Then Duke Alpheus appeared and said to the princess and the emperor that he wanted to bring the princess a study companion who was a girl named Jeanette, and that she knew all about the laws of the Obelian Empire. But the princess told him that she already knew all the laws and had even read them to him. Then the princess told Claude that she was tired and was going to play outside, and Claude gave her the book she wanted. In the garden, garden, she felt sad that she did not know magic. From the book, she drew something on the ground to study about magic, and the book flew away. She followed it and met Lucas, the magician. She thought that he was very handsome. Lucas thought that he had met the wrong person and wanted to go, but Athanasia stopped him and asked who he was and what he was doing. Soon Felix arrived, but Lucas instantly used his magic to send him away. Then Athanasia asked if he was a wizard, and he told her that he was the greatest wizard. Athanasia asked him to give her the book back. Before leaving, he told her not to chant the spell till the end because it was dangerous. He gave her the book and went away. The next day, Athanasia came to have tea with Claude, but Claude suddenly remembered what Felix had told him in the morning, that he was worried about the princess because she was the only child there and lonely without friends. Then Claude asked her if she needed any friends, but Athanasia said that she had Papa, Felix, Lillian, and Cake, and she did not want anyone else. Then he said that she really liked Cake funnily, and she got annoyed. At noon, when Athanasia came to the forest, Lucas arrived there and tested her with his magic to know her secrets. When he tried to drop her to the ground, something appeared and saved Athanasia from falling. After that, Athanasia got scared of Lucas and quickly cast a protective shield spell, and it worked. She felt happy and ran away. Lucas then used magic and vanished. Athanasia ran from the forest, but her vision became blurry, so she hurried to the palace and saw Claude and Felix. She stood there and suddenly vomited blood and fainted. Claude became worried and ran towards her.